So the word wizard's job is to find words in the section of the story that we read that you might not know, or you think that other people might not know. But if you come across a word, what do you normally do when you come across a word in a story that you don't know? You can sound it out. What do you do, Jaden, when you come across a word? I've seen you do it. You write it on a post-it, right? Then you come back and you'll look it up, or you'll find it, or you'll use it in the context of the story. Yes.
Or write it down in my
Mm-hmm.
Or you can look it up on the web.
Or you can look it up on the web, yeah. So what the word wizard, or the word watcher, whatever you want to call it, is going to find, you're going to find the word, you're going to write the page number it was on, you're going to write the sentence that it was used in, and then you're going to write what you think the word means before you look it up, Jaden, and then you're going to write what the actual definition is. Okay? So if I find a word that I don't know in the story, I'm going to write down the word, I'm going to put the page number, I'm going to write the sentence it was used in, I'm going to write what I think it means, and then write what the actual meaning is of the word. So that's how we're going to come across new vocabulary in the story, and then there will also be some other vocabulary words that we'll discuss as well.
How many are there?
Look at pages 12 and 13 to see what happens.
That's a good question. This on here, it says there's 2 words, like it gives you space for word 1 and word 2. But if you find 5 different words in that section of the book that you don't know, if you find one on each page that you don't, exactly. If you find more than 2, you can write as many as you want, even if you need to get other paper. I mean, I wouldn't go overboard and write down every word in the section of the story, but if there's really a word that you come across that you're just like, I really don't know, I really can't figure that out, then those are good words for word wizard. Yes, you solve problems. You know how to do that. Okay, so the last job the last role that we are going to do is the illustrator. And me, personally, this is my favorite role. When I've done literature circles before, because I've done literature circles too, my favorite is the illustrator. What do you guys think the illustrator's role is?
To draw pictures in color, so it can be
Pretty much. So you're going to pick a scene from the section of the book that we read. There's a few, but that's the point. Is you don't need the pictures. Yeah, they don't need to be colored in. That's the point of the illustrator is to make your own pictures. So
you draw pictures. That's why they don't draw many pictures in chapter books, because when they make a chapter book, they need a bunch of space to write.
Yeah.
Chapter book is
And
long. Chapter books are
what
long.
else? What do you do when there aren't pictures in a book? What do you do?
You just
Exactly.
think what the picture would look
Right.
like.
Exactly. So that's what you're going to be doing on this paper, is you're going to take the picture while you're reading. You always make pictures in your head, right? While you're reading, it's kind
Imagine that the pictures on paper.
right, like reading a book is like kind of making a movie in your head, right? So you're going to take a scene from those pictures that you make in your head, and you're going to just draw it on here. And then when you show it to us, we're all going to talk about it, and we're going to discuss which scene in the section that we read do we think is your... So, okay, so there are some expectations of literature circles, okay? And really, my job in the literature circle is to kind of just sit back and watch you guys. This is all yours. This can be anything that you guys want to make it. And it's all your responsibility to get your reading done. It's all your responsibility to have your discussions. And you guys, if you follow your rules, you guys should be able to have, well organized, yes.
Something like a reading page.
Not everything.
You couldn't find out what word it is. If somebody has the same word, and you want to find out what it is, you could maybe ask a partner or you could partner up.
We're not gonna partner up during the reading part, per se.
Like the paper part, if you write down a word that you don't know, then somebody
Okay,
knows it.
who's gonna write down the words that you don't know?
You, ourselves. If somebody knows what it means, if somebody knows what it means,
The word wizard. The word wizard's the only person who's gonna be writing down the words for the group. If you come across a word, if you guys wanna still do your sticky notes in this, that's fine. You can still do sticky notes so that you have, little ideas and stuff to talk about if you guys get through your rules and whatever. But while you're reading, whatever your role is for that week, that's your responsibility.
the only thing I'm gonna use is sticky notes is my book. For my book. So I can keep the page.
Okay.
So
You can make that decision. You can do whatever you want with your sticky notes, but the one thing that you have to do is follow the directions for your role. Aiden, I love the way you're listening. You're doing an absolutely terrific job. Thank you. So, the expectations of our book club or our literature circle is that you get all of your reading done by the time we meet the next time, that you get your work done for your role, and that you participate when we sit in here, okay, in our literature circle. So do you guys know what facilitate means? Kind of help move things along, okay? So I'm gonna be the facilitator. If you guys get stuck at a point or something and you need some help getting like a little push, that's my job. But otherwise, I sit back and I listen to you guys, because it's your group. It's you guys make the decisions. It's your responsibility. Okay? So you guys can really make the decisions on what you're going to talk about and the direction that the discussion's going to go. If it starts getting off track, though, and you guys start getting kind of silly, that's where I'm going to step in and redirect you guys and be like, all right, guys, remember, we're talking about Ramona, and we're talking about this chapter or this part of the book that we read. Okay? So, how many times do you guys think that I'm thinking that at first we're going to meet once a week and then we can meet twice a week. Does that sound good? So this week we might start with today, and then maybe we can meet again on Thursday or so to see how you guys.
we should do it one day and then skip a day.
You want to do one day and then skip a day and then meet again? So you want to meet on Wednesday?
So we'll come back on Wednesday, stop at Thursday, and then do it again.
Okay. Well, let's start with 2 times a week for now, so that we don't have. Okay. How about we do that? We're gonna start today. We'll come back and meet again on Wednesday, and then if you guys feel like you want to meet again on Friday, we can do that. But I think you guys should be okay with meeting just 2 times.
a week.
But you also remember, you need your independent reading time to get the book read too. So we don't want to.
We gotta use that save our books at first.
Yeah.
Don't
You
you do
have
3
to-
times a week because it's the only time I can read the paper.
More time that you can what? The more days that we meet, the less time you guys are gonna have to read the book. Because if we're not meeting, then you guys have this time to be reading. So you guys, if we meet, that's one less day a week that you guys have to read the book. So that's why I'm thinking it's probably best if you just meet twice. Huh? No, today we probably don't have time to read the book, because we have 5 minutes. So, because we only have 5 minutes, let's get this done so I can get you guys your rules and we can make sure that everybody knows what they're doing. Okay, so I kind of showed you guys how the rules are gonna work, and Jaden, You understand the rules? Is there any rule that you think that I need to go over again that you were kind of unsure about? And while you guys are filling out your stuff, and because I'll be in here while you guys are doing your independent reading. So if you guys have a question while you're doing your rules during independent reading time, I have no problem helping you guys out while you're on your own. Okay? So if you have a question about your rule, then you can just ask me during your independent reading time. Okay? So the last thing I want to show you guys is at the end of, there we go. At the end of our literature circle, we're going to have 2 different kinds of assessments. You guys know what assessments are, right? We're going to have a self-assessment, which is where you're grading yourself, and you're going to just kind of get an idea of how you think you did in the literature circle. And then there's going to be a group assessment, which is how do you think that you guys all work together as a group? So at the very end, you're going to give yourself, ask you questions. So you're going to say, I finished the day's reading on time. If you think that you did that every time, then you say yes. I finished my rule form to the best of my ability. If you think you did that every time, you'll say yes. I talked about my rule form with my group. You guys get the idea. I was a good listener. I used positive language when I talked. I did my very best. And then it gives you some room to write about how you think you did. Okay? And then the group assessment, you're going to, my group worked well together. If you think you guys did, you'll say yes. My group members finished the role forms, and so on. So you guys are going to do an assessment of yourself, an assessment of your group, but that's not until the very end. All right. So here, let me get you guys. Who wants to be the? Let's get you here. And then you guys can do this tomorrow during independent time. You can fill out your. Or if you guys want to actually fill this part out right now. My name, the book title, the author. You're going to write everybody in your group.
Are we writing Miss Mom?
You can write me if you want.
Because there's 6 lines.
That's fine.
Draw a picture of books.
Okay, who wants to be the, while you guys are doing this, who wants to be the discussion leader this week?
No, he's the real, thing.
Okay, Iana will be the discussion leader this week. Eden, everybody should have the chance to be everything. Who wants to be the real life connector this week? Eden? Okay, who wants to be the summarizer this week? You want to do the summarizer?
I do. Wait.
Okay, then let Autumn do it. Who wants to be the word wizard this week?
Me.
Okay, Julian, do you want to be the illustrator?
No.
You're pretty awesome at it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, you guys, it's time for lunch, so let's go.